So, my topic is all about the rendering of services. So, ano nga ba kapag sinabing render? Render means to provide or give. So, with this topic, rendering of services happens kapag ang isang tao ay nagbibigay ng kanyang serbisyo para sa isa pang tao kapalit ng kaukulang pera or ang bayad nito. So, the rendering of services for consideration is an exchange, but this does not cause a loss of capital. Hence, the entire consideration received from rendering of services such as compensation income or service fees is an item of gross income. So, pag sinabing exchange, it means one which each party receives and sacrifices something of approximate value. Kaya sinasabi na bagaman sinasakripisyo ng isang tao ang kanyang serbisyo ay hindi ito nagiging dahilan ng pagkawala ng kapital. So, ang kinoconsider sa rendering of services ay ang makukuha nila like the compensation income or the service fees. So, pag sinabing compensation income, it means all remuneration for services performed by an employee for his employer under an employee-employer relationship. So, pag sinabing remuneration, it means money paid for work or service. So, compensation income means dito nakapaloob yung binabayad ng isang customer with the service na binibigay ng isang employee. And this compensation is an item of gross income. So, later, i-discuss ko what does it mean nga ba pag sinabing gross income. So, now, let's proceed to the illustration. So, Mr. Saladin lists the following possible items of gross income. Number 1 is the compensation income, which is worth 200,000 pesos. Winnings from gambling, 100,000 pesos. Increase in value of investments, 50,000 pesos. Appreciation in the value of the land owned, 300,000 pesos. Debt of Saladin in cancelled by creditors for service rendered to them, 150,000 pesos. Debt of Saladin cancelled by his creditors out of affection, 250,000 pesos. And the loan received from a bank, which is worth 400,000 pesos. So, the items of gross incomes are the compensation income, which is worth 200,000 pesos, the winnings from gambling, 100,000 pesos, and the debt of Saladin forgiven in consideration for service rendered to his creditors, which is worth 150,000 pesos. So, first, let us know ano nga ba pag sinabing gross income. So, according do sa unang part ng chapter 3, in layman's term, ang gross income simply means taxable income. So, which is defined as the items of gross income. Pag sinabing taxable income, it means the items of gross income. In broader meaning, gross income refers to the total earnings a person receives before paying for taxes and other deductions. So, pag gross income, kumbaga ito yung buong kita ng tao na wala pang nababawas na kahit ano. So, and gross income is reported under the IRS or the Internal Revenue Services. So, with all the items na nilista ni Mr. Saladin, 3 items lang ang na-involve sa items ng gross income. So, first is the compensation income. So, sinabi ko na naman na compensation income is truly an item of gross income. So, na-explain ko na. Then, next is the winnings from gambling. So, any gambling is fully taxable. So, lahat ng sugal is taxable. Not just the casino gambling, but as well as the winnings from lotteries, horse races, off-track betting, sweepstakes, and game shows. Then, yung last is the debt of Saladin forgiven in consideration for service rendered to his creditor. So, it is classified as gross income because since it is forgiven and in exchange, binigyan or nag-render ka ng services, then it is classified as taxable and must be reported. So, in general, you must report any taxable amount of a cancelled debt as ordinary income of debt. So, with the list, there are items that is not involved or subject to gross income. So, first is the increase in value of investment, and the appreciation in the value of the land owned. So, hindi siya classified as gross income because it is under the unrealized gains. So, pag sinabi kasing unrealized gains, it is not taxable and doesn't need to report on the International Revenue Services. Kaya, it's valid or clear na hindi siya taxable, kaya hindi siya under ng gross income. So, another one is the cancellation. So, cancellation is also not an item of gross income because from the word canceled, you did not render services that is why it is not an income. So, bank loans are also not a gross income because pag sinabing loan, utang, so it is not considered as income and it is considered as liability. So, note number 1, gains from gambling and the forgiveness of debt in consideration of service or properties received are realized gains from exchange. So, realized gains, ibig sabihin, kabaligtaran siya ng unrealized gain, it means taxable siya, kaya sinabing yung gains from gambling at yung forgiveness of debt in exchange of services are gross income. So, number 2, the forgiveness of debt out of affection or mere generosity of the creditor is a gratuitous transfer subject to transfer tax. So, pag sinabing gratuitous, it means the property is transferred free of change or that the recipient does not pay for it in receiving from the donor or the giver. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya subject sa gross income or sa income tax, but rather it is subject to transfer tax, kaya hindi siya under ng gross income. Then last one is the loan received from a bank constitutes a transfer but it is not a benefit. So, sinabi ko kanina, pag loan, utang, so, ibig sabihin, there's a process of transfer but at the same time, it is not considered as benefit, kaya hindi siya gross income. So, yan lang po. Thank you po.